my name is Camilla, and I will be displaying my implementation of assignment 3. So I have my SQL server running, and I will start the program. So my idea is a Showdog club where you can show all the dogs and all the members, and you can scroll through them here. I have entered some examples, and you can add a dog, and you can add a new owner and some other stuff. And I have some error checking. So like breed, you can only choose the ones from the database. It's a query that retrieves all. And you can only pick an owner ID of the members that are already in the database. And gender, you can only choose male or female. And for date of birth, you get a calendar where you can pick a date of birth for the dog, and you can't enter text as number for words. You can only increase or decrease the number for words here, and you can enter a mother and a father. If you try to submit without entering all the fields, then you will get an error message showing that all fields need to be entered. And if you enter it correctly, it will pop up that now the dog is entered in the database. And if you return to the home page, it will be added here. So each time you switch tab, it will be updated. So it will be updated immediately. So I will focus on the 5 queries from task 4. So my first query is this one, which is a multi-relational query, where actually I can open it in my SQL workbench so you can see it a bit clearer. So from the tables dogs and owner, I pick the member ID and the name from the owner, and ID and the name from the dog, where owner ID of the dog matches member ID of the owner. And then I use like and these module signs to search for user. So in the implementation, it looks like this: search for owner, and then you can enter Maria, and then it will search for all members containing the name Maria. You could have a search for Johansson as well, and it will be the same. And you could search for Svensson, and display all the dogs owned by someone named Svensson. So this is Jessica Svensson, and she owns the dogs Chloe and Isadora, and etc. So in the implementation, I get the name from the entry field. So from this entry field called name, here name entry, and then I get the value entered. So my second query is also a multi-relational query. So it's this one, and if I open it in Workbench, it uses 3 tables: dogs, owners, and breeds, and it picks a number of columns from these 3 tables, and it matches where the breed of the dog matches the name of the breed, and the owner ID of the dog matches member ID of the owner, and then it orders them by the number for words. So in my implementation, it is this tab, number for words, and all the columns selected, and it's ordered by the number. So 7 is the most awards. It's by the dog Red, owned by Maria, and it's a King Charles Spaniel. And then it's decreasing down to 0 awards by Chloe. So here could the members, for example, see that, wow, Maria owns the 3 dogs with the most awards, or yeah, Red is the dog with the most awards, Chloe is the one with least, and so on. You can also see the size of the breed. You see that, well, large and medium have won less awards than the smaller and medium, and etc. So my third query is used for gender statistics. So if I open it here, it picks a number of columns from the table owners, and joins it with the table dogs. So all these are from owners and dogs. On where the member ID matches the owner ID, and the gender equals male. So in my implementation, it's not male, it's gender.get. And you can see here that gender is a combo box with the values female and male. So in the implementation, it looks like this, and you have a combo box where you can use male or female and search. And you can see that there are 3 males in the club, and there are 6 females. And here you can see all the dogs owned by females. So Monica Anderson has 2 dogs, and Maria, so it's more than 6, but it's 6 different people. So that was my 3rd query. My 4th query is about breeds. So it's a very short one. It selects the breed and the count of breeds from the table dogs and group the dogs by the breed. And therefore the count will return the count of each breed. So in the implementation, it looks like breeds, and it's this table down here. So you can see that Samoyed, there are 4 dogs of the breed Samoyed. There are 3 dogs of the breed Great Dane, and etc. And above there is some information about the breeds. It's different queries, not the one in task 4. But then you can see, like, yeah, there are 4 Samoyeds, and here I can read more information about the Samoyeds. My 5th query is creating and using a view. So here I create the view. Actually, you only have to create it once, but I added it in the code because it was supposed to be in the code. Therefore, I use create or replace view, since it might already exist. And I can display creating view here. So I select different columns from the tables dogs and owners. And it's important to use the as dog and as owner for the name columns, since a view is like a temporary table, and then there can't be 2 columns with the same name. And I match it on owner ID and member ID, and I order by breed. And then in the 6th query, I use this view. So you can see that here I create it, and here I use the view. So since I have already chosen all the columns up here, then I simply select all the columns from heritage and have a lot of if statements. So in my implementation, you can search, for example, the mother Abby, and you will get all the dogs with the mother Abby. Or we can take something else, Frankie, and see that there are different fathers. If you specify Prince, then you will only get the dogs with the mother Frankie and the father Prince. And you can leave out whatever you want and include, so you could get all the Samoyeds, for example, and so on. So you can search however you like. So here, if you enter a mother, then it will add this to the query and execute it. And if you also add a father, then you will have and so on. It will build the query depending on what you enter. And then it will execute the SQL and display the table. So that was basically my 5 different queries. And this is my implementation. So yeah, I hope you liked this recording.